Welcome to Living Stoic Way. Today, we're going to explore a powerful intersection between ancient philosophy and modern attraction. The theme might sound bold. Use these phrases with Stoicism to make women chase you instantly. But as you listen, you'll realize this isn't about manipulation, tricks, or fake confidence. It's about embodying the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and allowing that energy to naturally attract others, especially women, in a way that feels authentic, magnetic, and deeply grounded. Now, let's be clear. Stoicism is not a dating manual. It's a philosophy, a way of life designed to help you master your emotions, face adversity with calm, and live in harmony with reason and virtue. But here's the fascinating truth. Women are instinctively drawn to men who radiate exactly those qualities: calmness under pressure, clarity of purpose, a sense of self-respect that doesn't waver based on external approval. That is where Stoicism gives you an edge that no superficial pickup line ever could. When you internalize the Stoic mindset, your words carry a different weight. Every phrase you say becomes infused with a quiet strength, and women can feel that. They chase not because you're forcing them, but because you embody a rare quality, the man who does not need to chase, yet is still desirable. So in this video, I'm going to share phrases rooted in Stoic philosophy, words you can use in everyday conversations with women. These phrases aren't cheesy or scripted. Instead, they carry the essence of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, reimagined for today's world. And when spoken with genuine conviction, they send a powerful signal: I am unshakable. I know who I am, and I will not compromise my values for anyone. Let's begin by understanding why words matter so much. In Stoicism, words are not meant to impress, but to reveal your inner state. If your mind is restless, your words will sound insecure. If your mind is disciplined, your words will resonate with calm authority. Imagine speaking with a woman and saying, "Whether you stay or go, I remain myself." That's not arrogance. That's a reflection of a Stoic truth. Your worth is not dependent on her approval. And paradoxically, that very independence creates attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men who are not desperate for validation. Most men make the mistake of over-explaining themselves, apologizing unnecessarily, or trying to impress. But a Stoic-inspired man speaks less, listens more, and when he does speak, every word counts. His phrases are short, steady, and laced with quiet confidence. Let me give you an example. Imagine a situation where she tests you, maybe teasing you or pushing your boundaries. The average man reacts emotionally, gets defensive, or tries to prove himself. But the Stoic man smiles lightly and says, "What you think of me is your choice. What I think of myself is mine." That phrase is not just clever. It's rooted in Epictetus, who taught that we cannot control the opinions of others, only our own judgments. Now picture how that lands. A woman hears that, and instead of sensing weakness, she feels the stability of a man who will not crumble under pressure. She begins to chase because she wants to understand him, to earn his approval, not the other way around. But Stoic phrases are not only about deflecting tests, they are also about guiding interactions toward depth and meaning. For instance, imagine you're having a casual conversation, and instead of resorting to small talk, you say, "I value peace of mind more than drama. Tell me, what brings you peace?" Suddenly, the interaction shifts. You've elevated the conversation from surface level to soul level. Women love that because it shows you're a man who thinks differently, a man who prioritizes substance over fluff. Here's another phrase, simple yet profound. I choose not to be controlled by desire, but by reason. Say this not as a lecture, but as a passing remark when the topic of relationships or attraction comes up. She'll feel the gravity in your words. You're communicating that you're not desperate for attention, that you see desire as something to manage, not something that manages you, and that is irresistibly attractive. But here's the key. These phrases only work if they're backed by authenticity. You can't memorize them like tricks. You must embody them. That's why living stoically every day matters. If you meditate on your values, if you practice self-control, if you remind yourself that external things are not in your power, then when you speak, women will feel the congruence between your philosophy and your presence. Remember, women don't just listen to your words. They listen to your tone, your body language, the pauses between your sentences. A Stoic man does not rush. He is not fidgeting, not trying to fill silence with meaningless chatter. He is comfortable in his own skin, and his silence is often more powerful than another man's words. So as we begin this journey, let me ask you, are you ready to embody this way of being? Because once you do, you'll find that women are no longer something you need to chase. They will chase you not because of manipulation, but because true strength and groundedness are rare, and people are naturally drawn to what is rare. In the next section, we'll go deeper into specific phrases you can use in different scenarios when she tests you, when she shows interest, and when you want to lead the interaction towards something meaningful. But before that, I want you to internalize this one principle: attraction is not built on need. It's built on independence. And Stoicism is the ultimate path to mastering independence of the mind and spirit. Now that you understand the foundation that Stoicism is not about chasing, but about embodying independence, let's dive into the real-life scenarios where these Stoic-inspired phrases shine. These aren't magic spells. They are reflections of your inner state. When spoken with calm conviction, they communicate strength, depth, and a sense of grounded masculinity that women instinctively respond to. 1. When she tests you. Every man knows this moment. A woman says something teasing, sarcastic, or even dismissive, just to see how you'll react. Many men fail this test by becoming defensive, over-explaining, or worse, getting angry. But a Stoic man welcomes the test as an opportunity to demonstrate composure. Imagine she says, "You're not really my type." Most men would panic or try harder to convince her. But you look at her calmly, with the faintest of smiles, and say, "You're free to think that. I don't need to be everyone's type." Notice what's happening here. You didn't argue. You didn't chase. You stood firm in your self-respect. This echoes Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. I cannot be harmed by another's opinion unless I allow it. And that phrase creates polarity. Instead of her feeling she has the upper hand, she begins to wonder, why is he so unshaken? Why doesn't he care? And curiosity becomes attraction. Here's another variation. If she teases you with something silly, you could reply with, "What you say is yours. What I choose to accept is mine." This reflects Epictetus's teaching that other people's judgments are outside your control, but your response is always within your power. You're not rejecting her playfulness. You're simply showing that nothing unsettles you, and that calm authority makes you stand out immediately. Then, when she shows interest. Now, let's flip the script. Suppose she's being friendly, laughing at your jokes, or finding excuses to talk to you. Most men jump in too fast, desperate to escalate. But a Stoic-inspired man maintains his pace. His phrases show appreciation, but never neediness. For example, you might say, "I enjoy this conversation, but I never confuse pleasure with purpose." That phrase is subtle but powerful. You're telling her, yes, I like this moment, but I'm a man of direction. My life isn't ruled by fleeting pleasures. Women find this magnetic because it shows you have a mission bigger than chasing them. Or when she compliments you, "I like how confident you are." You respond not with arrogance, but with gratitude rooted in Stoicism. Confidence is just knowing what I can control and what I cannot. That's humility, yet strength. You're not bragging. You're revealing the philosophical depth behind your presence. And that makes her lean in even closer. 3. When setting boundaries. One of the most attractive traits of a Stoic man is his ability to set boundaries without anger. Too many men either avoid confrontation or explode emotionally. The Stoic way is different. You set boundaries with calm firmness. Imagine she cancels plans last minute and then expects you to be available the next day. Instead of sulking or lashing out, you simply say, "My time is valuable. I don't spend it carelessly." This phrase is not an attack. It's a declaration of self-respect. You're showing her that while you may be interested, you will not tolerate being treated casually. And again, women respect men who respect themselves. Another example, if she tries to pull you into drama or gossip, you can say, "Peace is my priority. I won't trade it for noise." It's firm, but elegant, and it communicates that your life is governed by higher values, not chaos. 4. When deepening connection. Attraction is only the first step. To truly make her chase you, you must create depth. This is where Stoic-inspired phrases shine the most, because they elevate conversations beyond the ordinary. Instead of the typical small talk, "What's your favorite movie?" you could ask, "Tell me about a time you found strength in difficulty." That tells me more about you than hobbies ever could. This is inspired by Seneca, who wrote about adversity being the true test of character, and by asking such a question, you're signaling that you care about substance, not just surface-level entertainment. Or here's another one. "I don't seek perfection. I seek someone who can remain steady when life isn't perfect." When you say this, you're not just flirting. You're expressing a core Stoic truth that life is unpredictable, but our response to it defines us. Women hearing this will think, "This man is different. He's not looking for temporary thrill. He's looking for resilience, for depth." And that creates a magnetic pull. 5. The power of silence. Now, here's something crucial. Sometimes the most Stoic phrase is no phrase at all. Silence, when used correctly, communicates volumes. Imagine she asks a provocative question, expecting you to get flustered. Instead, you pause, hold eye contact, and give a slight smile before responding with calm precision. That pause itself is Stoic. It shows you are in control, that you do not rush, that you're comfortable with stillness. And often, it's the silence that makes her chase harder, filling the space with her own energy because she senses your self-possession. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Applied here, the best response to a test is not to react as other men would. When others crumble, you remain steady. When others overtalk, you let silence carry weight. That is attraction at its purest form. The underlying principle. Now let's tie this together. Why do these phrases work? Because they aren't lines. They are reflections of an inner philosophy. They show that you don't measure your value by her reactions. You measure it by your principles. And this is rare in today's world, where so many men are willing to compromise themselves just for a woman's attention. A Stoic man never begs, never chases. He leads with presence, values, and calm authority. His words reflect independence, and his independence creates the chase. So as you practice these phrases, remember the words themselves are not the magic. The magic is the alignment between your words and your mindset. Live by these principles daily. Train your mind to remain steady in chaos, to find peace in silence, to value virtue over validation. And soon, you won't even need the phrases. You will become the phrase. In the next section, we'll go deeper into how to embody this philosophy so fully that attraction becomes effortless, where women not only chase you, but also respect you, admire you, and see you as a rare kind of man. So far, we've explored the foundation of Stoicism and how certain phrases can transform your interactions with women. But here's the truth. Phrases alone won't sustain attraction. Anyone can memorize words. What makes them powerful is the energy behind them, the way you say them, the calmness in your eyes, the unshakable vibe you radiate. And that energy comes only when Stoicism becomes a lifestyle, not a script. This is where most men fail. They chase pickup lines, thinking words will do the work. But women are far more intuitive than most men realize. They don't just hear your words. They feel the man behind the words. If you say, "I don't need to be everyone's type," but your body language screams insecurity, she'll sense the mismatch instantly. That's why cultivating a Stoic mindset daily is essential. Let's break this down into practical steps that will help you embody Stoicism so deeply that attraction flows naturally from who you are. Step 1. Morning reflection. Every morning, before you step into the chaos of the day, ground yourself with a Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings reminding himself, "Today I shall meet people who are busy, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." He wasn't being pessimistic. He was preparing his mind to stay unshaken. You can do the same. Before you start your day, remind yourself, whatever happens, my response is mine to choose. This mindset shifts you from being reactive to being proactive. When you interact with women later in the day, this calm preparation shows. You won't get thrown off by tests, rejection, or unexpected comments. You'll carry an aura of readiness, and that aura is irresistible. And step 2, practice voluntary discomfort. One of the core Stoic exercises is to deliberately make yourself uncomfortable. Why? Because when you expose yourself to controlled discomfort, you become unshaken by real discomfort. Seneca would sleep on the floor occasionally, eat simple meals, and ask himself, "Is this what I feared?" For you, this might mean taking cold showers, fasting for a few hours, or walking without your phone. These practices may seem unrelated to dating, but here's the connection. A man who disciplines himself is a man who cannot be easily controlled by external circumstances. And women can sense that resilience. When you're used to discomfort, rejection, or teasing won't shake you. Instead, you'll smile through it because you've trained your mind to stay firm. Step 3. Control of speech. The Stoics believed that words should be few, measured, and purposeful. Epictetus said, "Let silence be your goal for the most part." This doesn't mean you should be mute. It means you should speak with intention. Practice this daily. In conversations, resist the urge to over-explain or rush. Embrace pauses. Use silence as a tool. When you speak less but with clarity, people, especially women, lean in to listen. Your phrases, when they do come, feel heavier, more impactful. For example, if you're on a date and she asks, "Why are you so quiet?" instead of nervously apologizing, you calmly reply, "I speak when I have something worth saying, and I enjoy listening." That reply shows maturity, control, and patience, qualities rare in today's hyperactive world. Step 4. Journaling for self-mastery. Another Stoic practice is nightly journaling. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was essentially his private journal. never meant for anyone else's eyes. It was his way of holding himself accountable to his values. At night, write down, what did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow? Over time, this practice sharpens your awareness. You'll catch moments where you reacted emotionally instead of stoically. You'll learn to correct yourself. And gradually, you'll embody the calm presence that women find magnetic. Step 5. Detachment from outcome. Perhaps the most powerful Stoic principle for attraction is detachment. Epictetus taught, some things are within our power, and some things are not. A woman's response, her opinion, her decision to chase you or not, those are not within your power. Your attitude, your presence, your words, those are. So practice detachment daily. When you text a woman, don't obsess over her reply time. When you approach her, don't fear rejection. Remind yourself, her choice is hers. My peace is mine. This detachment liberates you. And paradoxically, when you no longer cling, women feel freer to come closer. Neediness repels, independence attracts. Step 6. Meditation on death. This may sound heavy, but it's profoundly liberating. The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering that death could come at any moment. Far from being depressing, this perspective sharpens your focus on what truly matters. When you realize life is short, you stop wasting time chasing validation. You stop bending over backward to please others. You start living with urgency and authenticity. And that kind of presence, a man who knows life is precious and lives fully in the moment, is intoxicating to women. Imagine being on a date and casually saying, I try to live as if every day might be my last. That way I don't waste time on things that don't matter. That's not morbid. That's magnetic. It shows depth, perspective, and intensity of living. And step 7, service and virtue. Lastly, Stoicism isn't only about self-control, it's about virtue. The highest Stoic value is to live in alignment with nature and serve others with justice, courage, and wisdom. When you live for more than yourself, when your mission extends beyond your own pleasures, you radiate purpose. Women chase men with purpose, not because they're flashy or rich, but because purpose is rare. Purpose is magnetic. So serve in small ways. Be the man who stands up for fairness, who helps without expecting anything, who speaks truth even when it's unpopular. That kind of integrity cannot be faked. And when you carry it, your phrases become more than words. They become expressions of a life lived with virtue. Why this matters for attraction. When you practice these habits daily, you build a reservoir of calm confidence. So when the moment comes to use a Stoic phrase, it flows naturally. You're not acting. You are the philosophy. Women will feel it in your posture, your eye contact, your energy. They'll sense that you're not just quoting Marcus Aurelius, you're living like Marcus Aurelius. And that authenticity is what makes them chase. Remember, attraction is not about tricks. It's about resonance. When you resonate with independence, virtue, and calm, women are drawn to you like gravity. In the next section, we'll explore how to combine Stoicism with modern dating dynamics, how to navigate texting, dates, and long-term relationships with the same calm authority that makes women not only chase you, but respect and admire you for the long run. Up to this point, we've built the foundation Stoicism in mindset, Stoic phrases in everyday conversations, and daily practices that transform you into a man of calm strength. But philosophy only becomes powerful when it's lived. So let's step into the real world of modern dating texting, first dates, intimacy, and relationships, and see how Stoicism turns each of these stages into opportunities for attraction, respect, and growth. notes. 1. Stoicism in texting. For many men today, texting is where they lose the game. They overinvest, they double text, they try too hard to be funny. Stoicism reminds us, control what you can, detach from what you can't. Here's how that looks. When she delays replying, the average man spirals into anxiety. A Stoic man, he reminds himself, her response is not in my control. My peace is. Instead of chasing, he waits calmly, continuing his life. And when he does reply, his words carry weight. Example, she says, sorry, I got busy and forgot to reply. Most men would show frustration or neediness. The Stoic reply is light and firm. Life gets busy. I never hold grudges. I value presence when it's here. This phrase communicates maturity. You don't whine. You don't guilt trip. You acknowledge reality with grace. And paradoxically, your detachment makes her want to engage more. Another principle, keep text concise. Long paragraphs reek of overinvestment. Instead, let your words show calm direction. If she asks, what are you doing tonight? You don't gush. You say, focused on my routine. If you'd like, join me after. This shows that your life has structure, and she's invited into it, not the other way around. Women chase men whose lives are already full and purposeful. Here 2. Stoicism on first dates. When it comes to first dates, most men think they need to perform to impress with stories, jokes, or status. But Stoicism flips this. Attraction comes not from performing, but from presence. Instead of trying to dominate the conversation, you ask questions that reveal character. You might say, tell me about a moment that shaped who you are today. That's not a boring question. It's Stoic in nature. It shows you care about depth, not surface. And when she shares, you listen, really listen. Your silence, your nod, your calm follow-up question all communicate. I value your mind, not just your looks. Another tip, don't fear silence on dates. Most men panic when conversation slows, but a Stoic man is comfortable with pauses. He takes a sip, looks around calmly, then returns to the conversation with ease. This relaxed energy reassures her you're not desperate to fill space. You're grounded in yourself. If she asks something provocative, like, why aren't you dating anyone seriously right now instead of fumbling? You smile slightly and say, because I don't rush. I'd rather build something real than chase distractions. This answer isn't defensive. It's firm, calm, and values-driven, and that's magnetic. Yard 3. Stoicism and intimacy. When attraction deepens, intimacy becomes the next stage. Here, Stoicism reminds us of moderation and intention. It's not about suppressing desire, it's about not being controlled by it. Women can sense when a man is desperate for physical validation. That energy kills attraction. But when you approach intimacy from a Stoic frame with patience, with presence, with no rush, it becomes magnetic. Imagine she hesitates in the moment. Most men push harder or sulk. A Stoic man respects her pace, saying, desire should never be forced. What matters is that we're both at peace with the moment. This kind of phrase communicates self-control, respect, and security. It shows you're not driven purely by lust, but by harmony. Ironically, this often makes her feel safer and more drawn to you because she knows you're not needy. 4. Stoicism in long-term relationships. Perhaps the greatest test of Stoicism comes not in first encounters, but in relationships that last. Infatuation fades, challenges arise, emotions flare. Here, most men crumble, becoming reactive, defensive, or controlling. But the Stoic man thrives because he views every challenge as a test of his character. When disagreements happen, instead of shouting, you breathe. You remind yourself, her emotions are hers. My response is mine. Then you say calmly, I value peace more than being right. Let's talk when we're both steady. That phrase disarms tension. You're not running away. You're choosing wisdom over impulse. And women deeply respect men who can lead with composure. When she criticizes you unfairly, instead of retaliating, you can respond. Your words reflect your feelings in this moment. I won't let them define me. This is pure Stoicism. It acknowledges her experience without surrendering your self-respect. You're showing resilience, the ability to absorb pressure without cracking. And over time, this steadiness makes her trust you more. 5. The Stoic frame of leadership. In relationships, leadership doesn't mean domination. It means guiding with calm purpose. A Stoic man doesn't control a woman. He controls himself, and that leadership creates safety and attraction. When making plans, instead of asking endlessly, what do you want to do, you take initiative. I've booked a table at a place I enjoy. I think you'll like it. It's simple, but powerful. You're showing direction while still caring for her experience. Women chase men who lead because leadership signals security. And when life throws challenges, financial stress, family problems, unexpected crises, a Stoic man becomes the anchor. He reminds his partner, we don't control everything, but we control how we face it together. That's not just philosophy. That's love, fortified by wisdom. 6. Avoiding common pitfalls. Let's address something crucial. Many men try to apply Stoicism as an excuse to suppress emotions entirely. They become cold, detached, almost robotic. That's not true Stoicism. The philosophy isn't about killing emotion, but about mastering it. So in relationships, don't be afraid to express affection. Don't hesitate to say, I appreciate you, or I value what we're building. The Stoic difference is that you say it from a place of strength, not need. You give love freely, but you are never enslaved by it. Seneca said, he is most powerful who has power over himself. That is the essence of attraction. When you love without losing yourself, when you care without clinging, you embody the rare balance that women crave but rarely find. And the result of living stoically in love. By now, you can see the pattern. Stoicism is not a trick for dating. It's a framework for living. But because it makes you calm, present, purposeful, and self-respecting, it naturally transforms your relationships with women. From texting to dating, to intimacy, to long-term commitment, the Stoic man is consistent. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't explode. He leads with composure, values, and direction. And that consistency is what makes women not only chase you, but also stay with you, respect you, and grow with you. In the next section, we'll bring everything together. You'll learn how to fully integrate Stoic philosophy into your identity so that you no longer have to try to be attractive. You will simply be attractive because you've become the embodiment of timeless wisdom in a modern world that desperately craves it. We've traveled far in this journey, from understanding the foundation of Stoicism to applying phrases in daily interactions, to cultivating practices that make you unshakable, and finally to navigating modern dating and relationships with wisdom. Now it's time to integrate everything, to go beyond using Stoicism and instead becoming Stoicism. Because here's the truth, women don't chase words. They don't even chase actions in isolation. What they truly chase is a way of being, and the Stoic way of being calm, purposeful, grounded, unshaken is one of the most attractive energies a man can embody. So how do you reach that point? How do you stop thinking about phrases and strategies and simply radiate attraction effortlessly? Let's bring it all together. 1. Identity over technique. The first shift is to stop viewing Stoicism as a set of techniques and embrace it as identity. When you identify as a Stoic man, every action flows naturally. You don't have to remember lines. Your mindset shapes your language. You don't have to force calmness. It becomes your default. Think of it this way. A man who goes to the gym occasionally may look fit for a while, but a man who is an athlete, whose identity is tied to training, doesn't need to think about it. His body simply reflects his way of life. Stoicism works the same way. When it becomes who you are, attraction stops being something you do and starts being something you are. Number 2. Living above external validation. At the heart of Stoicism is freedom from external control. This includes opinions, praise, and yes, even romantic validation. Women chase men who do not beg for attention because independence signals strength. But here's the paradox: you can't fake independence. If you say, "I don't need validation," but deep down you crave it, she will sense the inconsistency. That's why daily Stoic practice matters. You train your mind to find worth internally in your values, your actions, your discipline. When you truly no longer need her approval, you suddenly become far more attractive. Why? Because you've stepped into rare territory. In a world full of men chasing, you're the one being chased. Part 3. The magnetic calm. Imagine two men in a crowded room. One is loud, always seeking attention, cracking jokes nervously. The other is calm, present, unhurried. Guess which one women gravitate toward. Stoicism gives you this magnetic calm. By practicing silence, detachment, and composure, you begin to radiate an energy of stability. And in a chaotic world, stability is sexy. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to prove it. Just your presence, the way you breathe, the way you pause, the way you refuse to be rattled speaks louder than words. This is why the Stoic man doesn't need to chase. He is the anchor, and women are naturally drawn to anchors. 4. Power through purpose. Another key integration is living with purpose. Seneca wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." A Stoic man doesn't drift aimlessly. He chooses direction, mission, and virtue. Women chase men with purpose because purpose is rare. Most men make women their purpose. But when your life has a mission beyond romance, whether it's building a career, serving others, mastering a craft, or pursuing wisdom, you become irresistibly magnetic. Here's the beauty: women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join you in your purpose. They want to walk beside a man who is already walking his path. That's why your mission matters. Without it, you chase. With it, they chase you. Or 5. Emotional mastery, not suppression. Let's clarify something. Stoicism is not about being emotionless. It's about mastering emotions. Women don't want robots. They want men who can feel deeply, but not be ruled by feelings. So when you're joyful, express it fully. When you love, show it openly. But when anger, fear, or jealousy arise, you control them instead of being controlled. This balance makes you safe, desirable, and admirable. For example, if she upsets you, instead of exploding, you breathe and say, "I feel frustration, but I choose patience." That's vulnerability and strength in one. It shows you're human, but also disciplined, and that is profoundly attractive. 6. Virtue as the true attraction. At the deepest level, Stoicism teaches that virtue is the only true good. Courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. These are the pillars of a great life. And here's the hidden secret women chase virtue. They may be intrigued by looks or status at first, but what keeps them is integrity. A man who lives with courage, who treats others with fairness, who speaks with wisdom, who practices moderation, that man is rare. That man is unforgettable. So when you live by virtue, your relationships stop being games. They become partnerships rooted in respect. Women don't just chase you for attention. They chase you for the man you are. Number 7, the art of non-attachment. Finally, the ultimate integration non-attachment. You can love deeply, you can care sincerely, but you never cling. You live the Stoic truth, love everything, but hold lightly, because nothing is truly yours. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you powerful, because when you love without fear of loss, your love is pure. Women sense this. They feel both cherished and free, and that paradox makes them chase even more. Non-attachment is not about pushing people away. It's about embracing them fully, without making them the source of your identity. And that balance of intimacy without dependence is the highest form of attraction. And you're becoming the living Stoic way. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a challenge. Are you willing to go beyond words, beyond techniques, and truly embody the living Stoic way? Because once you do, you won't just use phrases to make women chase you. You'll become the kind of man women chase naturally, the calm in chaos, the anchor in the storm, the man who walks with purpose, leads with virtue, and radiates independence. This is more than dating advice. This is a way of living. And when you live it fully, attraction becomes effortless. You no longer chase. You no longer beg. You no longer compromise yourself. Instead, you stand firm, and the world, including women, moves toward you. In the final section, we'll close this journey by giving you practical steps to begin living this philosophy today. So you don't just understand Stoicism in theory, you live it, breathe it, and radiate it in every interaction. We've arrived at the final part of this journey. Over the last sections, we've explored Stoicism as philosophy, as practice, as energy, and as a way of being that transforms not only how women see you, but how you see yourself. Now, let's bring it all together into practical, actionable steps you can take every day. Because wisdom without practice is wasted. Knowledge must become habit. If you want women to chase you not for tricks, not for superficiality, but because of the man you are, then these daily practices will turn Stoicism from theory into your natural magnetism. 1. Begin the day with a Stoic ritual. Every morning, set the tone. Instead of waking up to distractions, wake up to discipline. Spend 5 minutes in silence, reflecting on the day ahead. Ask yourself, hey, what challenges might I face today? How will I choose to respond? This prepares your mind. Women will sense this preparation when they meet you. You won't be flustered. You won't be needy. You won't be reactive. You'll carry the calm of a man who expected life's tests and is ready to face them. And 2, practice control in small things. Self-mastery begins with small victories. Skip the extra snack when you don't need it. Take a cold shower when your body craves comfort. Pause before replying to a message. These little acts of discipline build the muscle of control. And when control becomes your habit, You naturally radiate strength. Women are drawn to men who can master themselves because self-mastery is rare. 3. Use Stoic phrases with authenticity. You've learned the phrases, "Your opinion is yours," "My peace is mine," "I don't rush," "I value what's real," "Peace is my priority." But here's the key: don't force them. Use them when they truly align with how you feel. Speak them with calm conviction, not performance. Authenticity is what makes the phrase powerful. Without authenticity, it's just a line. With authenticity, it's a mirror of your soul. 4. Journal for self-accountability. At night, write. 3 questions are enough. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How will I improve tomorrow? This keeps you honest with yourself. It turns every day into a training ground. Women admire men who are constantly growing, not stagnant. Journaling ensures that growth never stops. 5. Detach from outcome in every interaction. Whether you're texting, on a date, or in a relationship, practice this mantra: I control my actions, not her reactions. If she replies late, you remain calm. If she tests you, you smile. If she walks away, you let her, because your worth doesn't leave with her. This detachment makes you powerful, and paradoxically, it's often when you no longer cling that women chase hardest. 6. Lead with purpose. Don't make women your mission. Make life your mission. Pursue goals, serve others, live with direction. As Seneca said, to live is to act. When you walk your path with purpose, women don't just chase you, they respect you. They admire that your world doesn't revolve around them, and that respect is what keeps attraction alive. 7. Train the body, sharpen the mind. Stoicism values the unity of body and mind. Marcus Aurelius trained as both philosopher and warrior. Follow that example. Exercise regularly, not for vanity, but for discipline. Read daily, not just for information, but for wisdom. A strong body without wisdom is incomplete. Wisdom without strength lacks grounding. Together, they create the presence of a man who commands attention simply by entering the room. 8. Practice non-attachment in love. When you love, love deeply. When you care, care sincerely. But always hold lightly. Nothing is guaranteed, not even relationships. This doesn't make you cold. It makes you free. Say to yourself daily, I love this person, but my identity is not theirs. My peace is mine. This mindset lets you give love fully without fear, and women feel safest with men who are both devoted and independent. 9. Serve virtue above all. At the heart of Stoicism is virtue, courage, justice, wisdom, temperance. If you live these values, everything else falls into place. Imagine you're on a date and she asks, "What kind of man are you?" Instead of boasting, you say, "I strive to live with courage, fairness, and peace. I fail sometimes, but I never stop trying." That answer is more attractive than any story about money, status, or possessions, because virtue never goes out of style. Virtue is eternal attraction. 10. End the day with gratitude. Before sleep, practice gratitude, not just for successes, but for challenges. Say to yourself, "Thank you for the tests that shaped me. Thank you for the strength to remain steady." This gratitude rewires your mind. It turns hardship into training, and a man who sees life as training never complains. He grows. And that growth is what keeps women fascinated, because they see a man who refuses to stay ordinary. The final truth. Let's return to the beginning. The promise was bold. Use these phrases with stoicism to make women chase you instantly. But now you understand it's not about tricks. It's about transformation. When you live stoically, you don't need to chase. You don't need to prove. You don't need to beg. Your calmness speaks louder than jokes. Your silence weighs more than noise. Your purpose outshines any flashy act. And women chase because deep down, every woman is searching for stability in a chaotic world. They're searching for the man who is unshaken, who leads with virtue, who loves without losing himself. That man is rare. That man is unforgettable. That man is you if you choose the living Stoic way. So as you step forward from this video, don't just remember the phrases. Live the philosophy. Embody the calm. Practice the discipline. Lead with virtue. And watch as attraction becomes effortless. Because the greatest magnet in life is not words, not tactics, not games. It is character. And when your character is stoic, women will chase you not just instantly, but endlessly. This is Living Stoic Way. Thank you for walking this journey with me. May you carry these truths into your daily life, not only to attract women, but to become the man you were always meant to be: strong, calm, purposeful, and free. Remember, control what you can, release what you can't, and live every moment with virtue. That is the Stoic way. So here we are, at the end of this journey. You've walked with me through the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. You've seen how Stoic principles, calmness, purpose, detachment, and virtue can transform not only your inner world, but also the way others experience you. And most importantly, you've discovered how these truths make women chase you, not because of tricks, but because of who you have become. Let's pause for a moment and reflect. What have we really learned? That attraction is not about chasing. It's not about impressing with material things or bending over backwards to win approval. True attraction comes from identity, from the steady presence of a man who does not need validation, because his worth comes from within. You've learned the phrases, the Stoic reminders you can carry into daily life. I remain myself whether you stay or go. Your opinion is yours, my peace is mine. I do not rush, I value what's real. But now you understand these aren't just clever lines. They are reflections of a deeper way of being. And when you embody this way of being, women feel it instantly. They sense your independence, your composure, your depth. They recognize that you are different from the crowd, and that difference is what makes them chase. But let me be clear, this journey isn't just about women. It's about you. It's about becoming the man who is calm in chaos, who leads with virtue, who lives with purpose, a man who doesn't just survive but thrives, who doesn't just exist but leaves a legacy. So as you move forward, ask yourself, will you let life pull you like a leaf in the wind, or will you stand firm like the oak tree, rooted in wisdom and strength? Will you continue searching for external approval, or will you cultivate the unshakable confidence that comes from living by principle? The choice is yours. But know this, once you choose the Stoic path, once you embrace the living Stoic way, you will never be the same again. And if you've stayed with me until this moment, I know you are ready to stop chasing, ready to stop doubting, ready to live with calm authority and magnetic presence. So here's my final challenge to you starting today. Commit to one Stoic practice daily. Maybe it's morning reflection. Maybe it's journaling at night. Maybe it's choosing silence instead of argument. Small steps, repeated consistently, will transform you faster than you imagine. And as you transform, notice the shift. Notice how women respond differently. Notice how people in general respect you more. Notice how your inner peace becomes unshakable. That is the reward of this path. Remember, you don't need to force attraction. You don't need to run after anyone. You only need to embody strength, purpose, and virtue. And when you do, the right people, especially the right women, will chase you, not instantly as a game, but endlessly as a choice. This is more than philosophy. This is a revolution of the self, and it begins now. Thank you for being here with me, for listening, for reflecting, and for daring to step into the living Stoic way. If you found value in this journey, share it with someone who needs this wisdom. Subscribe to continue walking this path with us. And above all, remember, control what you can, release what you can't, and live with virtue. That is the Stoic way. That is your way. This is Living Stoic Way. Be strong, be calm, be free, and watch as the world and women chase you, not because you need them to, but because of the man you have become.